Third time I've done this because I kept getting interrupted or screwing it up. This is for Algebra 1, Lesson 5.8, Average Rate of Change is the name of this, okay? The idea of this is we're going to learn how to calculate and interpret the average rate of change of a function presented symbolically or as a table over a specified interval. I underline that. Children, you have to understand this is only valid over a given interval, like between 1 and 10 or 2 and 3, okay? You have to have a beginning point and an ending point. And then we're going to estimate the rate of change from a graph, okay? So if we have a function f of x, the average rate of change, which I will abbreviate as ROC on the closed interval a to b, what that means is it's between A and B inclusive, including A and B. All right? Well, it's just going to be f of B minus f of A all over B minus A, which is just the change in f over the change in x. And if we change the letter of f into y, then it's just the change of y over change in x, which you know to be the slope. So what we're doing is on a given interval of inputs. This is all about the input interval. This is all about x, right? So between x equals a and x equals b, the change, the average rate of change of the function is just going to be the value at b minus the value at a all over b minus a. All right, so now, the U.S. Department of Labor Statistics keeps track of the prices of common consumer goods. The graph shows the average price of a gallon of milk in the U.S. from the year 2000 to the year 2022. An interactive graph can also be found here. The link does not work, so don't worry about it. Okay, so you have this, and you see you got all these wiggles, right? It goes up and down and up and down, up and down. It's all over the place. So you have all this stuff, and if you look, the price is over here. It seems to start at about 2 gallons or 2.8 gallons or dollars per gallon. And then it shoots way up here to a max of whatever that is. And they'll tell you in the discussion. All right. So here we go. Describe how the price of a gallon of milk changes over this time period. So over this time period from 2000 to 2022. All right. Well, the price fluctuates. Big word, college level word, from let's say a min of roughly, what is that, about $2.60 a gallon, to a max of roughly let's just say about $4.40 a gallon. All right. And it just fluctuates. What does it mean to fluctuate? It's all over the place. It goes up, it goes down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's wiggly. Okay, so it fluctuates. All right, I gave kind of a lower estimate to a maximum estimate. All right, and it's all over the place. It goes up, it goes down. Identify a time interval in which the price of milk was decreasing. Well, you could say from 2008 to 2010, yes, its tendency is to go down. Yes, it had this little spike there, but then the rest of it's down. So I would say 2008 to 2010. Okay. In May of 2018, the average price of a gallon of milk was $2.92. So right here, that point is $2.92. All right. In May of 2022, which is 4 years later, the average price of a gallon of milk was $4.02. So this is up here at $4.02. All right. So how much did the price of a gallon of milk change over this time period? Well, you just have to take 4.40 minus 2. I had to get a calculator because I just want to get this done. 2.92, and that'll be the change. So how much did the price of a gallon of milk change? It would be 4.40 minus 2.9. Why do they say 2? All right. And using my handy dandy calculator on my phone, here we go. It's 4.40 minus 2.92. That works out to be $1.48. Okay, so the price of the gallon of milk increased by $1.48 over that time period, which is, I believe, how many months are in this time period? Well, it's a 2-year time period, isn't it? Or no, 4-year. It's from 2018 to 2022 equals 4 years. So that's going to be times 12, because there's 12 months in a year. That's going to be 48 months. Okay. Did the price increase by the same amount each month? No. It increased, then decreased over this time period. On average, how much did the price of milk increase each month? Well, what we need to do is find the total increase, the change in price over the change in time. That would be $1.48, because we already figured that out. That's how much it went up by, spread out over 48 months. So 148 divided by 48 came out to be about 0.03, about 31 cents. Per month. How do you know? I found the change in price and divided it by the number of months. Okay. So now they're asking you, sketch what the graph would look like if the price of milk increased at a constant rate. Constant rate, that means constant slope, which equals a line. A line is a graph where it has a constant rate of change because it has a constant slope. So what they're asking us is to take the 2 points that they gave you and connect it with a line. That's what the graph would look like. All right. Find the slope of this line. Well, the slope of this line is going to be the change in F, I guess, or P, over the change in X. So that would literally be the same exact calculation. It would be 4.02 minus 2.92 over 48, which equals what we had. It is 0.31. Why might this data be helpful? There's lots of reasons. It's not really germane to the math, so I'm not going to get into it because my brain just froze. So the next thing is, let's just go over the important learning targets, or the important quick notes. First thing, learning target number 1, the average rate of change of a function from x equals a to x equals b. It has to be over an interval. This is from a to b. It's simply f of b minus f of a over b minus a. It's the overall change in outputs divided by the length of the interval that this change occurred. From a graph, here's a graph with axis and all this fun stuff. You have this, here's the graph. It's kind of curvy, and here's A. So that's A, that's B, and so it's going to be the value here, which is the y value, minus f of A over b minus a. Okay, it's just the slope of that line that connects them. Slope of line, and the technical word for this is secant line. They don't say it here, but it's a secant line. You'll learn about that in geometry. It's a line that crosses a graph at 2 points. Okay. The average rate of change indicates how fast a quantity is changing over an interval on average, and it can be positive or negative. All right. So really, all this boils down to is finding the slope between 2 points, the endpoints of a given range of values from A to B. All right, and you're going to find the value at B, so f of B minus f of A. So it's just simply the average rate of change M is just going to be f of B minus f of A all over B minus A, and that's the slope. And that's the average rate of change, the ROC, average ROC. All right, I'll do the check your understanding in the next video. You have a good one. Bye-bye.